Alright, this presentation I would probably be presenting to my branch manager for the time being. So if I was talking to my branch manager, I'd say, I'm here to talk to you today about a real estate collateral evaluations that are happening in the bank at this time. I think it's important to go over kind of why we do real estate collateral evaluations and the policies behind it and the reason that we're here at the bank and the reason why we're actually doing these collateral evaluations. I think it's important to remember the 5 C's of credit. The 5 C's of credit, as you're familiar with, are character, which is the integrity of the individual or the business, the capacity, which is the person that has enough cash flow to actually service the debt that we are thinking about giving to them, or that the bank is thinking about giving to them. The capital that the individual has, or the net worth of the individual of the business. And then collateral, which is kind of what we're going to go into a little bit further today. Collateral is the actual asset or the property, the vehicle, the whatever we are taking as collateral to service their debt that we are going to give them. And then we also remember the conditions. And that is the borrower's overall standing in life. So how well are they doing? What are they doing in life? What's their goals? So I think it's important to remember those things as we consider people for debt and the things that they need to accrue. Some of the policies that we have on appraisals and evaluations: all applications secured by second mortgage with a loan amount greater than $50,000, and appraisals will be required for all applications secured by first mortgage with a loan amount greater than $150,000. It's just kind of a little bit of a refresher so we can remember the policies and why we would actually do a collateral evaluation on a transaction. The process of the current bank evaluation, as you are a little bit familiar with, as we have been doing them for certain transactions, it must be on a D11's bank form. And this is the form pulled up right here. As we can see, you need to include your name, you need to sign it, date it. Some of the things that are required in it is to describe the collateral, its conditions, its current use, what it's being used for, how good is the standing on it, if it's in a good sellable market. Those are the things that we need to remember. Also, we need to describe the source of information used in the analysis, such as 2 or more approaches to value must be included in the evaluation. We also need to do a current tax assessment. We can also do a comparison on property with other comparables in different areas or around the same area, preferably in the same area. We could also use prior appraisals of property. Another good example would be a letter of opinion from a professional. And this is kind of, I just wanted to put this up. This is what we're using at the time now for comparables. So you'd put in, your current comparable on the first line there, and then you would do selling properties in the area or in the surrounding areas, and then you would make analysis and update and analyze what you need to get it in the right stage or the right amount for the loan that you're looking at doing. And then the last thing, so we know that we have to put our names and sign and date it. We also have to get somebody within our line of authority to sign and date it, or that's in the area to be able to go look at the property, to do the things that they need to do to make sure that you're doing your job right. But then also you have to get somebody outside of your line of authority to review your evaluation that you've done. So you could send this to Pocatello, you could send this to Twin Falls, you could send this to anybody in the bank, and they're able to review your collateral evaluation. They'll be able to make sure that you've done everything correctly. They'll have to sign it, review this checklist, check off the things they need to, and then send it back to you. So I wanted to kind of break it down a little bit. So I did an analysis kind of right now of transactions that we've done in the last 6 months. And as you can see, The longest one in the last 6 months took us as long as 25 days to complete. The shortest one in the last 6 months has taken us 9 days to complete. So that's a pretty big difference. But they shouldn't be that significant. And then on average, it takes the bank 17 days or 12 working days to complete a real estate loan from start to finish. And that seems to be the average even past this last 6 months. When customers come into the bank, they always ask, how long is it going to take for us to get their transaction done? And right off the bat, the bank has told us that we can tell them that it's going to be 2 weeks to a month. Which, yeah, that's what these are ranging into, but if they have the expectations of 2 weeks, then we are not reaching those expectations by any means. One other thing I wanted to talk about is what other alternatives do we have? Well, we could order an appraisal on the property, but like we've already talked about a little bit earlier, you only have to order those on certain, you only have to order those appraisals on certain policies and certain transactions. But what about those transactions that the loan officers don't feel qualified or comfortable doing analysis on and giving a value on the property? Well, then you would probably feel better about ordering an appraisal on it, because you have a certified appraiser doing all the analysis work on it. Well, that's going to cost the customer more. On here, we can see on average that it's going to cost the customer $433 just to order this appraisal because the loan officer is not comfortable appraising the property. Maybe it's a little bit more complicated of a transaction. So that's not really a great alternative by any means. So in conclusion, we are not meeting the expectations or need that our customers are looking for when they come into the bank. Remember, when they first come into the bank, they're shopping. They're looking to see what's going to work best for them, or who's the quickest, who's the cheapest. And that's what their expectations are when they walk in. My recommendation for improving the bank's real estate evaluation process would be to outsource all in-house real estate collateral evaluations to certified appraisers. So no more in-house evaluations. The things that this is going to help us with and help the customers with, it's going to be a more accurate certified collateral evaluation, meaning that it's going to be more specific to their location. It's going to save us time so we can go out and still work with other customers and to continue doing other transactions instead of taking a day just to do one collateral evaluation. It's going to save the customer money, especially if you're going to do an appraisal, because we don't want to do an appraisal, but if you're sending it to an appraiser to do a collateral evaluation, they're going to get those things and do them correctly. It's going to save the customer money, just like I said. I did a little spreadsheet here that Brad Linford had given to me. He says on average, you will spend $133 on these evaluations if you send it to me. And this is Brad talking. He said this is normally what they would charge for a real estate collateral evaluation. And then look at the time that they turned it around in. 1.3 days. Less than a day and a half to turn around these evaluations. Way better than what the bank's doing at this time. So I just wanted to let you know that this is a great way for us to save the customers money. It's a great way for us to meet the expectations that they have for us. I think all around it's going to be great and helpful to the bank.